Investment and social identities. There have been a number of studies in which the link between investment in language learning and social identity has been explored. One of the studies, that of Rampton, actually looks at a classroom where German is being taught as a second language in London. And the method that has been used in this class is mainly audiolingual. Now, as you would know, that audiolingual method is a method which is highly structured, and the students are only required to listen to the language structures and repeat them. So there is a lot of repetition, and there was hardly any attention paid to the needs of the learner. So what they realized was that the students' responses to the class were very vague. They were very reluctant to participate in the classrooms because they did not really accept the language as such, and German only turned out to be or was taken up as a ritual language. That is, you just have to do it without any sense of belonging towards it or any enthusiasm. However, when outside the classrooms, unexpectedly, certain space was given to the learners to speak German or to engage in German language, they would see the sparks of motivation in the students. So what does this tell us? Norton says, this tells us that motivation to succeed and willingness to invest yourself in language learning will and is closely related to the desired identity that you want to negotiate. So you see yourself, as you would remember, one of the participants was talking about this imagined identity. Norton is talking about it in terms of desired identity. What do you want to be? And then you invest yourself in that language. And it really depends how this identity, the persona that you think of, would determine the success or failure of the language learning. Similarly, there is another study by McKay and Wong. And it was interesting to note in their studies that they found that although all of the children in a second language classroom where English was being taught were learning language, the motivation or the identity that the learners wanted to impose or negotiate was different. So interestingly, the students who wanted to have this identity of good students, for instance, paid attention to those specific aspects of language which would be used in academic studies. And then there were students who wanted to learn the language only to be a part of the wider social circle of friends. And interestingly, they paid attention and they picked up the language that was related to that social circle only. Again, we come up with the same conclusion. Heller also, again, in another ethnography of French medium high school, and she finds that people have different motivations for learning French language, and depending on what their motivations or what kind of identity do they want to impose, it affects their attitude towards French language or the second language that they have been learning. For instance, the African students somehow rejected this personal significance of French language and they saw it as a colonial language. However, they felt that it was central to their success, to their economic success, and to their social success. While, and interestingly, there is this white female who wants to learn French because she just wants to learn French because there is people in her family who speak French and she wants to belong to that community. However, other than that, she does not have any interest in the language, and she does not see it as any of any use in her future. So again, interestingly, these two different groups or these individuals pay attention to those specific parts of the language that are helping them to build the kind of identity they want to.